Well, ladies and gentlemen, the night time is the right time as we're at Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina, as we are here today for All-Star Weekend. And it's the running of the Winston All-Star Race. But first, but first we got to go through the prelude race first, and it's the Winston Open is what this race is going to be. 20 laps of distance here on this race here for the Winston Open, so it's going to be 20-20-20. Now, what this means is 20 laps for the Winston Open. And, of course, the two segments in the Winston itself, which is 20 laps in the first segment and 20 to decide it all in segment 2. And so, going to be even number of laps in the whole race. And, of course, the Winston itself is going to be longer, of course, than the Open itself. So, the Open is, by the way, is for non-race winners, for drivers that haven't won a race between the Daytona 500 and the last race on the Tour at Richmond. So, and by the way, the switch of track 2, this is going to be Charlotte 1994 we're running here today. Same track we're going to be running in the Winston itself, the 600 at Charlotte, and of course, also the Melly Yellow 500 later on this season. So, and of course, we got a few special schemes itself, it being a race like this. And so let's get the starting line for today's running of the event. On the pole at 183 miles an hour, it is Cat Batson on the pole and driving one of the two Batman cars. In fact, the other Batman car starting behind her and he is on row 2, which is Keith Batson, starting in 3rd position. Starting outside of Cat in row 1 is Jesse Turner driving an all-camo number 75 Remington car. Second row is Keith Batson, as we mentioned before, and alongside of him is going to be Phil Parker, who has one of our 3 in-car cameras in today's event, in today's Open. Row 3 has Joshua Collard in number 43 in the STP Pontiac and Dylan Young in a special 25th anniversary Miller paint scheme, which is black, yellow, and silver, by the way, on his car. He has our second in-car camera, by the way, Dylan Young does. Third row has our third in-car camera, Levi McIntyre, the XI Buyers SKF4, number 99, and number 23, Paul Minnick in the Smokin' Joe's Ford. Fifth row will have Zachary Fitzwater, who came so close to getting the All-Star berth at Richmond, only to crash out into the leaders with 6 laps in a big one with 6 laps to go while leading the race, I might add. He's in the spam milling Ford number 9, and beside him will be Carter Friesen, number 71, the Realtree Chevrolet. Row 6 has Rob Evans at number 12 and number 7, Jonathan Zorlin, a pair of Fords in that row. Next row down has Sean Arden, number 13, the First Place Loans Ford, and number 15, Ryan George in the Quality Care Ford, number 15. Next row down has car number 41, Peter Onjack, and number 11, Ashlyn Boyd in the Loesch Ford. Next row down, Austin Colano at number 37, the Little Caesars Kmart Energizer Ford, and number 6, the Valvoline Ford, and is Becca Tellier. Next row down has Jason Haywood in 81, the Square D Ford, and beside him will be Tony Green, number 33, the Skull Bandit Chevrolet. Next row down has the all-silver number 17, Ryan Farmer, who actually will be running a few special paint schemes during the course of the season itself. He's in the Western Parts America Chevrolet number 17, and beside him will be number 90, Jay Jefferson, the Hollig Myers Ford. Next row down has Ben Crouch, number 25, the Boatwestern Chevrolet, and number beside him will be Nicholas Wade, one of the impressive rookies in this season so far. In the Quaker State Ford, car number 26, he could be a threat here today in the Winston Open, no question. Next row down we'll have number 10, Vince Almerigo in the Tide Ford, number 10. He is being a Ford Taurus in this week in the All-Stars, and he might run also in the 600 as well. Next row alongside of him will be Daniel Bouchard, number 30, in the Pennzoil Pontiac. And starting shotgun field will be William Brock, and number 4, the Kodak Film Chevrolet. So you got actually got a few strong cars that actually can make it up in the top 5 here at race's end once it is all said and done. So interesting what happens. And I say top 5 because the top 5 finishers in this Winston Open will advance into the All-Star race itself, which is of course the combining of race winners from the Daytona 500 on down to Richmond, as well matched with the past Castrol GTX Cup Series champions if they signed up. So, with all that further ado, let's get the command to fire the engines at Charlotte.
3, 2, 1, gentlemen, start your engines.
Command's given the fire the engines as we get set for action on this 1.5-mile racetrack here in the fans. are pumped up here. The engine's fired up. And the energy level is pegged like on the backstretch at Martinsville. So, or should I say the energy level is pegged like a tachometer on the backstretch at Martinsville. So anyway, you got some top contenders on the back and starting in the back of the field, but they got a few top contenders to deal with in the front row. And that's, of course, including Cat Batson, Jesse Turner, Keith Batson, who came so close to the championship last season, getting himself a permanent show in the All-Stars. Of course, Phil Parker, Dylan Young, Joshua Collard, Levi McIntyre. Plenty of good cars to try to deal with to try to make your way to the front and try to become one of the top 5 to advance. And so, in fact, you got all 4 KAB Enterprises cars, and of course, Keith Batson, if you know him, would like to have all 4 of his cars in the All-Stars, no question about it. And by the way, he and Cat Batson, of course, running the Tauruses for only the All-Star Weekend only. Of course, if you know Keith, he likes the Thunderbirds over the Tauruses, no question about it, too. Green flag is out, and the Winston Open is on. Cat Batson jumps out in front. Here comes Keith Batson to the inside, number 28, the Texaco Haviland Batman Special, and the pair of the 2 Batman cars are about to lead the first lap. Keith will lead the first one. Here comes Collard to the inside, and the 43 machine. He has had a dismal season so far in the King Richard Petty colors, and he would like to turn things around. Starting, of course, he'd like to turn things around the points, starting with the 600 naturally, but this Winston All Races does not count for points. Is basically for all part at stake. Collard leads lap number 2. The second lap here clocked at 188.1 miles per hour. As we always say, the night time is the right time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And in fact, it is Collard leading. Here comes McIntyre to the inside of Batson for second place. And he's got Zachary Fitzwater right behind him. On board, Levi McIntyre's car from the roof came with the XIBers SKF Ford. And there you see the Mad Dash from the rear bumper came with his car here. Collard right behind as is Fitzwater in number 9, the Spam Milling Machine. He'd like to redeem himself from that loss he had at Richmond. And this race, of course, this open by was shortened to 20 laps, by the way, from the previous seasons when we had a 40-lap open. And then we shortened it, of course, to 20, by the way. So that's why the 20-20-20 deal. Obviously, so you're going to have a grand total of 60 laps of racing, which is in fact also the lap total for the 600 itself. It's going to be a 60-lap race at Charlotte. And oh, by the way, that race is going to be the only race you'll probably require pit stops right there near the end of the race, which of course is why so often we see a cluster, you know what, in the last few laps of that race. Dylan Young inside for second place as he was inside of Phil Parker for second, and now he's going to go inside of McIntyre for the number 1 spot. Here comes Dylan Young in that black and silver number 2. He's going to be running this just for the All-Stars as well. And he might bring that scheme back, and might bring the scheme back for him for the 400 at Daytona, possibly. I'm not sure on that just yet. And there are some drivers who are already locked into the Winston that are going to be running special schemes as well. Jesse Turner's lead only for a moment, but here comes Batson to the inside. Keith Batson, that is, in 28. He's got Collard behind. And the front, front 8 cars is about to pull away from the 9th place car. That would be the car of Jason Haywood in 81. Haywood trying to catch a sniff of the draft behind Levi McIntyre's machine. Meantime, Joshua Carter's Pontiac now holds the lead for the moment as we're almost halfway through the Winston Open. Coming by to complete the 8th lap, we'll have 12 laps remaining in the Open. And only one lap clocked at 190 miles an hour. That would be Keith Batson at 190.2 miles per hour. Rest of them just below that. In fact, his wife Kat almost at 190, 188.8, 189.8, excuse me. And right now, the last transfer spot as they cross the start-finish line this time by. The last transfer spot right now would be held by Phil Parker in 5th. But he's got Levi McIntyre challenging him for that spot. And here comes Keith Batson and Joshua Collard side by side. Drag racing in the 3rd turn. Batson has the advantage at the moment as they come off the 4th turn. Batson holds the lead for the moment. Halfway home. 10 down, 10 to go in the Open. I thought I heard somebody hit the wall come off the 4th turn. Apparently nobody did. You see him wheels strewn all over the track right here as you see some battles going on here as Sean R tries to get around Ben Crouch. You see him, Peter Onjag, Vince Almarigo, Becca Tellier, Daniel Bouchard is actually moving up a little bit from his next to last running position. He's got the help from the 26 car of Nicholas White, who's trying, and they're trying to make headway. Hopefully to get right up there with the leaders in a short period of time as they got. But the trouble is, they are unfortunately for them they're actually not far behind, about a second and a half. So in fact, you got some cars right there up in the. In fact, you got some new players up there trying to get themselves a spot in the All Stars here, including Rob Evans is up there, as is Jason Haywood, and 17 of Ryan Brommer, trying to get drafted right here. In fact, Rob Evans is going to try to make a charge at Cat Batson and the 9 of Zachary Fitzwater. Six laps to go in the Open. 12 and the 81 could be one of the 2 cars to watch here in these last six laps. Rob Evans, of course, one of the 3 Tauruses in the Open. He and Sean Art and Vince Almarigo. Actually, one of 5 Tauruses because Cat Batson and Keith Batson are only running Tauruses just for this particular race. And then they're going to go back to the Thunderbirds, of course, for the 600. Evans trying to go inside of Batson. Nothing doing for the moment. In fact, that Batson's trying to hold off the challenge of Levi McIntyre. But no dice at the moment as they're actually now down to 4 laps to go. And now Batson's up in the hot side again. Here comes McIntyre inside of Dylan Young. And all the while right now, Phil Parker has the lead for the moment, number 5. And here comes number 88, Cat Batson to the inside. Off the 4th turn here, Jesse Turner moving inside. That's for the 2nd position. But positions. Well, I tell you what, it's going to be a tussle to see who can get the top 5 spots here. Here comes number 9, Fitzwater, to the inside. It's either make it to the top 5 or wait till the 600. That's basically what's going to be right there. 2 laps to go. Kat Batson looks inside of Phil Parker again for the lead. She shoves Parker up the track. Here comes Kat Batson to the inside for the lead. And she's going to get the draft off of the 9 of Fitzwater and the 99 of McIntyre, 28 of Batson. 8 cars shoot up to decide the top 5 spots here. Maybe 10 possibly, because Ashley Boyd and Rob Evans are closing up. The white flag is out in the Winston Open. Who will make the top 5 out of these cars? Kat Batson holds the lead for the moment. Here comes Fitzwater. He's trying to close up on the back of the 88 car. Fitzwater and McIntyre in there as well as they come off the 4th turn. And Fitzwater makes a charge to the inside here. Kat Batson wins the Winston Open. And your top 5 is going to be Kat Batson, Zachary Fitzwater will be 2nd. 3rd, Phil Parker, 4th, lead by McIntyre. And by 0.04 of a second, Jesse Turner gets the last spot over Keith Batson. What a race that was in the Winston Open. Kat Batson's your winner of the Winston Open. And Zachary Fitzwater, who should have had himself a spot in the All-Star race at Richmond, actually gets a little bit of vengeance because he does get because he does get one of the 5 spots by virtue of finishing 2nd. And your heart's gonna go out to guys like Keith Batson, Joshua Collard, and Dylan Young. Raced their hearts out for that one. But unfortunately for Keith Batson, he's got Kat Batson to cheer for now, sort of race at least. But Keith would like to have been in the race himself, and of course have himself a shot at winning his 2nd All-Stars. But and stuff. Joshua Collard, of course, that just adds on to his frustrating year he's had so far. And Dylan Young, boy, you gotta hate that for him too. And of course, 9th position will go to Ashlyn Boyd, and 10th place will be Rob Evans. And of course, those two also will have to wait till the 600 at Charlotte here on the same track once we get to the All-Star starts done. Excuse me. Average speed here, 187.677 miles per hour. As Kat Batson's your winner here. The rest of the order, Sean Ard comes home with a good 11th place finish, but unfortunately he like 6 on down will of course not make the race. Jason Haywood, Peter Onjak finishes 13th. Daniel Bouchard 14th, Tony Green 15th. William Brock actually moved up to 16th from his last place starting position. Ryan Brommer, who actually was up there late in the going, he actually drops back to the 17th, matching his car number. Nicholas White 18th, 19th will go to Jonathan Sorlin, and Becca Tellier, no factor at all. She ends up finishing 20th in the race. Vince Amaringo 21st, Paul Minnick 22nd, 23rd, Ben Crouch 24th, Austin Colano 25th, Ryan George 26th, Carter Friesen. And last place in the All-Stars, unfortunately for him, Jay Jefferson, of course the one advantage you actually do have of not making the All-Stars, unfortunately. While unfortunate, the one advantage you do have is that you actually do get an early jump on getting your car ready for the 600, which will be, of course, the race after the Winston. So that is one silver lining in this cloud, of course. Average speed again, 187.677 miles per hour as the Winston Open goes caution-free. Congratulations to Kat Batson, the winner of the All-Star race. And again, your transfers, Kat Batson, Zachary Fitzwater, Phil Parker, Levi McIntyre, and Jesse Turner. That's your top 5 transfers. And we'll be right back for the Winston All-Star race right after this. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, Charlotte, North Carolina, and this is it. The Winston Open is over. 5 cars have been transferred into this moment of truth. It's the Winston All-Star Race at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Castrol GTX Cup Series for Season 20, as 18 cars get ready to see who is the true All-Star for this season. And oh boy, what a race we're going to have here today. So without further ado, let's get to the starting lineup for today's running event as we introduce each car one by one. On the pole, he comes in this race by virtue of being the season 16 champion, as well as winners this season at Darlington in Texas. It's Sega Motorsports TD himself, Trent Dunham, in the Pennzoil Chevrolet number 1. Starting beside him in a special 25th anniversary GM Goodman Chevrolet car number 3, the silver car. He comes in by winning the season at Bristol and North Wilkesboro. It's Georgia's Cole Deaver. Row 2. He comes in this race by virtue of finishing in the top 5 in Winston Open. He is from Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajun, Phil Parker, in the Kellogg's Cornflakes Chevrolet car number 5. Starting 4th, it is Zachary Fitzwater, car number 9. In the Spam Melling Chevrolet, the Flying Aussie, he comes in this race by virtue of being another top 5 finisher in the Winston Open, by finishing 2nd in that race. Starting 5th, he comes in this race by virtue of being the season 8 champion of this series. He is Yakko himself, Johnny Gardner, in the Family Channel Chevrolet Ford car number 16. Starting in 6th position, he comes in this race by virtue of being winners at Auto Club and the last race of the tour at Richmond, the Interstate Batteries Interstate Batteries Pontiac car number 18. He is Preston Plord from Connecticut. Starting in 9th position, he comes in this race by virtue of being the Daytona 500 champion from this season, the Sitco Ford, driving the 1995 Morgan Shepherd car, the ultimate Morgan Shepherd fan himself. It is Quentin Moore. And starting in 10th position, he comes in his all-star race by virtue of being the season 1 champion of this series. He is the man from Kentucky, the man who runs the Mountain Racing Series, Dylan Poteet, in a special gold MB&A Pontiac car number 22. Starting in 11th position in the special DuPont Chroma Premier Chevrolet Monte Carlo, a nice looking gold and black Chevrolet. He's in this race by virtue of being the season 15 champion from California. It's Charles Sanford. Starting alongside in car 42, the Coors Light Silver Bullet. He is the man from Ohio, the American Patriot himself. It is Kyle Matthews. Starting in the next row down, it is car 44, the Hot Wheels Pontiac. He comes in the race by being the winner this season at Atlanta. He is Mike Becker at the wheel of this machine. Next row down, and the next car in the starting lineup, by virtue of being another top 5 finisher in Winston All-Star Open, the all camo Remington Arms Ford. He is Jesse Turner, driving car 75. Starting in the next position here, the Burger King Chevrolet car number 87. He comes in this race by virtue of being a 3-time series champion. And the man from Kentucky, the ultimate racing fan himself, regardless of what motorsport you're talking about, he's Joshua Osborne. And starting alongside of him, the winner of the Winston Open, that's how she got in this race. The only KAB Enterprises representative, she's Kat Batson. Or should I say, for this race, the Catwoman, I guess you might say, in this event. Starting in the next position, sporting the Batman Forever colors on her McDonald's Ford, car number 94, the only 4-time series champion, and she needs no introduction herself. She's Jessica Shelton. And starting alongside of her in the John Deere Ford Taurus, car number 97, the man who got into this race by winning at Talladega, it is Zach Winkle in car 97. Here comes the Fire the Engines here at Charlotte.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
That's ladies and gentlemen to you, by the way. And starting in the last 2 positions, he is the president of the NNSCRA, starting in 17th position in the RCA Ford car number 98. He got in this race by winning at Martinsville. He is Seth Cole, the president of the NNSCRA, and starting shotgun in the field, he comes in by being the top 5 finisher in the Winston Open. The number 99 XRS SKF Ford, rock and wrestling, the ultimate heavy metal and wrestling fan. He is Thrash Maniac himself, Levi McIntyre. So the fields line up on the back stretch at the moment. 20 laps in this first segment for the Winston All-Star race itself. In-car cameras carried by Charles Sanford, Jessica Shelton, and Kyle Matthews. That's who carries the in-car cameras in today's event. As we'll see what happens here. Next, race car's lights are off here, and of course, as the old saying goes, the BS stops and the green flag drops. And it's going to get real here in just a second as they come off turn number 4. The fuel being led in the hands of 2 Chevrolets, Trent Dunham and Cole Bieber. As the green flag is out, and boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys and girls. Johnny Gardner looks inside, and who leads the first lap? It's going to be Trent Dunham leading the first lap of this race here. Gardner to second position. Here comes Quentin Moore moving inside for number 2 position. And Charles Sanford moving his way up to the field quickly now, number 24 as they come off the second turn. And he's got the help from Kyle Matthews in car number 24 as they get on the back stretch into the third turn now. The night time is the right time, as we said at Charlotte, and they are flying here today. Sanford also has the front bumper cam. He is looking at the back end of Johnny Gardner's car as he now loses the lead to Quentin Moore in car 21. And to the lead now goes car 42, Kyle Matthews, darn pace car, as he leads the third lap of the event here. That lap for Matthews here, 192.198 miles an hour. They've got him wound up here at Charlotte. And look at the fastest lap. Look at the top 10 fastest laps so far in this race here. In turn number 1, Joshua Osborne had the lead, but now you're riding with her. Jessica Shelton as she takes the lead. Off turn number 2 in the Batman Forever car. That's a 1995 Bill Elliott scheme he ran, during the month of June promoting the movie back in 1995. Off the turn 4 she comes here, and this is not the only night schemes that she'll be running this season. She'll be running the Mac Tonight cars at the Pepsi 400, and of course the night races at Richmond and at Bristol, and of course also at Darlington as well. Not to mention she'll bring the Mac Tonight scheme also back out for the the Mello 500 also at this very same track. In the turn number 1 now, turn 4 coming off turn 4. Levi McIntyre has the lead. But here comes Jesse Turner to the inside, looking for the number 1 spot. Just an explosive start here. 6 laps into the event. And they are averaging just over 189.5 miles an hour. Turner has the lead. Here comes Poteet, car 22. And he's got the Winston Open winner, Kat Batson, behind him in 88. Zach Winkle, one of the surprise winners this season. He was a surprise winner at Talladega in the Winston 500. That's how he got into this race. Preston Ford, who's won the last 2 races this season, he's looking for the hat trick at the 600 at Charlotte on this very same track. Fitzwater's up there. So is Cole Bieber in the silver number 3 this season, or this weekend at Charlotte in the All Stars. Of course, he'll go back to his black scheme for the 600. Some of those schemes that were running in All Stars, of course, a lot of them are one-time only schemes, such as what Bieber's running, what Charles Sanford's running, what Shelton's running, and while some of the other, and of course also Kat Batson as well. Some of the other schemes like what Dylan Poteet and Jesse Turner has will possibly be run later on in the season. And here comes Cole Deaver in the silver number 3 looking inside for the lead, and he's got it. And Charles Sanford in the 24 shoving him, and also the pole sitter is up there, Trent Dunham. And he's got Phil Parker behind him as well in the 5 car. Just incredible racing here in the first half of the segment number 1, as Charles Sanford takes the DuPont Chroma Premier car out in front, the black and gold Chevrolet this weekend. Of course, he'll transfer back to the rainbow colors, so when we get back for the 600. Dunham looks inside. Here comes Parker side by side. Dunham leads his second lap of the race, but here comes Parker to the inside, and he's gonna take the lead in the turn number 1. But here comes Johnny Gardner in 16. And Osborne up there at 87, the 3-time champion, and he's also having a kind of a miserable season so far. And All-Star Wing would kind of cure his ails here. Poetry in motion at over 190 miles per hour at Charlotte. This is just some great racing we're seeing. Off turn 4, Seth Cole out in front. Here comes Quentin Moore with the help of Kyle Matthews and Jessica Shelton. Out behind as they go into turn number 1. Here comes Moore to the inside. Looking low, Matthews up there as well, and he's got Shelton behind him. Matthews out in front. You're riding with Shelton in second place right now as she moves inside of Matthews for the lead. And now you're riding with Kyle Matthews, who has the lead for the moment. But here comes Shelton, and she moves inside. She'll take the number 1 spot for the moment. 6 laps to go in segment number 1 here at Charlotte. And here comes Mike Becker for the lead. He's got it with the help of Dylan Poteet, a pair of Pontiacs on the inside lane. And now Matthews and Shelton both go backwards. Now Mike Becker has the lead, but here comes Poteet to the inside lane. He's got the 88 of Cat Batson, and Batson. Poteet must have saw Batson go to the inside lane, and Poteet says, "Nuh-uh, that's my spot." And here comes Cat Batson, the winner of the Winston Open. She would love to pull up the swing and pull up the All-Stars as well, just like her husband Keith did a couple seasons back. But here comes Thrash Maniac, Levi McIntyre to the inside. 2 laps to go or 3 laps to go, I should say, excuse me, in the Winston in segment number 1. And let's remember the finishing order in segment number 1 is going to be how they're going to start in segment number 2, which will decide the whole thing. Off turn number 4, Jesse Turner out in front as they're coming out for 2 laps to go in segment number 1. Fitzwater is up there. Zach Winkle, can he pull up an upset? Got green cars on the inside here. Winkle and Preston Plord. Plord's been one of the dominant cars the last couple of races in an interstate batteries machine. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same car he ran in California with him where he won. White flag out over segment number 1. Winkle out in front. Here comes Plord to the inside. Can Preston Plord make the move? Winkle holding him off for a moment. As they come off the second turn here, Plord Does he make a move? Yes, he does. He'll look to the inside of the third turn, possibly. Winkle says, nuh-uh, as they come off turn number 4. And segment number 1 is going to belong to Zach Winkle in car number 97. He wins segment number 1, and that's where he's going to start in segment number 2. So your lineup for the top 10 lineup for segment number 2 is going to be Zach Winkle, Preston Plord, Cole Deaver, Charles Sanford, Trent Dunham, Zachary Fitzwater, Joshua Osborne, Jesse Turner, Phil Parker, and Levi McIntyre. Average speed in segment number 1 after 20 laps in segment number 1, 190.412 miles per hour. And apparently Fitzwater does not know he's already taken the checkered flag. Yeah, and there he goes. So with all that said here, that's how they start. This is the finishing order for segment number 1. It's still going to be how they're going to start for segment number 2. And that's the current running order right now here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And so with all that said here, Zach Winkle wins segment number 1. We'll be right back with segment number 2 after these messages, if there is any. Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the field is about to come off as the field is going to have extras, as we're ready to start segment number 2 after the pit stops were made, and they've lined the cars up. They've lined the cars up by the same where they finished in the All-Stars, obviously. In segment number 1, I should say. Zach Winkle currently is the leader. Second position is Preston Blord. Third right now is belonging to Cole Deaver. Charles Sanford in 4th position. Trent Dunham 5th. 6th is Zachary Fitzwater. 7th right now is Joshua Osborne. Jesse Turner 8th. 9th, Phil Parker. And 10th position is Levi McIntyre. As the field's getting ready for green flag, segment number 2 is on as we are getting ready to decide the whole shebang here at Charlotte. The first segment of the race, they averaged almost 190.5 miles per hour as they come into turn number 3 now. Cole Deaver, number 3, looks to the inside for the lead as they come off turn number 4. And he's got it. Cole Deaver holding them all off for the moment here. Trent Dunham in 2nd position. 3rd is now Osborne. Then comes 4th position. Right now is belonging to Phil Parker. Then comes Gardner to the inside of Winkle for position. One driver we saw that they did not get a good start. They did not get a good start was Quentin Moore in 21. But Quentin, of course, has now moved back up to this pack of cars here and trying to challenge for the win if he can. Dunham has lead for the moment. Here comes another yellow car. Phil Parker with the help of Johnny Gardner and Kyle Matthews to the inside. Parker looking to the inside. The man, one of the guys who got in by finishing the top 5 in the Open. As Parker, I believe, finished 3rd in the Winston Open. And here comes Johnny Gardner, the season 8 champion. That's how he got into this All-Stars. He did get a win last season over in Pocono, where we'll be heading to about a couple races from now. On board, Kyle Matthews' car. He looks inside of Gardner. He missed Gardner up the track from the number 1 spot. Here comes number 42, the proud Buckeye from Ohio, Kyle Matthews. Side by side, Matthews barely in the lap. Here comes his buddy, Seth Colt on the inside, and he's got Jessica Shelton behind him as well in 94. Pontiac in first, and 2 Fords right behind him. Another Pontiac behind the Ford. Poteet's up there. Jesse Turner in the 75 car. Seth Cole looks inside. He's going to take the lead. Come on, turn number 4. Shelton looking to the inside lane here on Seth Cole to come off turn number 2, excuse me. On board Shelton's car, number 94. Looking right there behind the RCA Ford. Batman stalking its prey. As she moves inside, Shelton takes the lead. Off to number 2. Speed shot. Looks like 185 mile an hour pace lap happening here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jesse Turner to second position. Here comes Levi McIntyre for second now, number 99. Charles Sammer holding the fast lap for the moment at 186.5. In segment number 2, they slowed the cars down just a little bit. They were doing over 193 miles an hour in the first segment. As apparently the conditions got a little bit warmer here at Charlotte. McIntyre looks inside now. He's going to take the lead from Shelton, and here comes Kat Batson, the Winston Open winner. She wants to get a Winston All-Star title herself for the second season in a row. And here comes 21. That's Quentin Moore, the Daytona 500 champion, to the inside now. And he's got Zach Winkle, who won segment 1. And he would like to pull off the upset over these guys. Nine laps in the books, 11 to go, almost halfway home in segment 2. This is the segment that's going to decide the whole shebang here. Charlotte, it's going to decide the winner. Riding with Charles Sanford, 24. He wins right now in 4th. Trying to follow Fitzwater in the 9 car. That's no dice. Here comes Preston Plord to the inside in 18. As he takes the Bobby Labonte cars up to the top 5 spot now. And he's got Cole Bieber behind him in number 3. In the meantime, Quentin Moore looks for the lead in the 21 car. The Wood brothers out in front now. 11 down, 9 laps to go in the Winston. Preston Plord, car 18 to the inside, and 1 car off the pace. That's Mike Becker in number 44. On tough break for Mike Becker in the 44 car. He's across the start-finish line at the moment. The field right now is about to come off turn number 4. Oh, poor Mike Becker is way off the pace here and has lost the draft completely. So now as any of these 17 cars can possibly pull this one off. And of course, the one thing to remember, these guys are doing about 180 miles an hour. Becker only doing about 175. Bieber has the lead for the moment, but here comes Osborne, 87. To the inside, he's got Trent Dunham behind him in number 1. 7 laps to go. Dunham had tried to make it 3 wide, but thought better of it. This is for the whole thing there, but so on the other hand, you kind of want to play it safe, but not too safe. This is the segment where you go for it. And they are giving it all they got right now. Phil Parker to the inside for the second place here as he's got Seth Cole behind him. 6 to go. Down the inside, here comes Phil Parker, the Raging Cajun out of Louisiana, to the inside lane. And he'll take the lead off to number 4. I'm not sure if they're going to catch Mike Becker before the checker flag falls. And the way they're going right now, they possibly might. Seth Cole out in front. Here comes Gardner. Johnny Gardner, 16 to the inside. He's got Kyle Matthews behind him. Poteet's getting into it. So it's Jesse Turner in 75. And they are closing up on Becker right now. Here comes Becker. Off turn number 2. He's off turn number 2 right now. And he's about a half a straight ahead of these guys. So yeah, I think the lap car is going to play a factor here in the second segment as the outcome of this whole thing. You're going to hate for this to happen though, but that's it. But that is the scenario. Matthews to the inside. He's got Poteet behind him. Now they've caught up to Becker. What's going to happen now? Matthews out in front. Poteet looks low. And Jesse Turner, he's got Jessica Shelton behind him in number 94. Oh boy, here we go. Becker's. They caught up the back bumper of Becker's car. Matthews looks slow to the inside. He's going to go by. Poteet's going to go by. Turner's going to go by. But Shelton's up on the high side. That's going to move McIntyre down low. They'll be coming the white flag this time by. Turner looks low on Poteet. Here comes Kyle Matthews. White flags in the way. 1 lap to go. For the Winston. Here we go. In the turn number 1, Jesse Turner looks low on Matthews. What's going to happen on the final lap? Turner looks low. Matthews holding him off for the moment. McIntyre for second. He moves Turner up the track. That's going to be all she wrote. Off the 4th turn they come. And to the start-finish line, the Winston All-Star Race for Season 20 goes to Kyle Matthews. An excellent finish to the Winston All-Star Race. Kyle Matthews and number 42, the Coors Light Silver Bullet, goes to victory lane here at Charlotte. Lap car did play a factor as the possible outcome of this race here. And what a finish. Ohio sweeps the top 2 spots. Matthews wins it. McIntyre second. Third will go to Jesse Turner. Zachary Fitzwater fourth. Dylan Poteet fifth. Kat Batson goes from the All-Star Race, All-Star Open winner to finishing 6th in the All-Star Race itself. A great showing for Kat. Excuse me. Quentin Moore 8th. Jessica Shelton. Quentin Moore 7th, I should say. Jessica Shelton dropped to 8th, and she had a shot to possibly pull this one off too. But got caught up behind the lap car, and sometimes that's what happens. Charles Sanford comes home 9th, and 10th place will go to Johnny Gardner. Average speed in segment 2, 184.084 miles per hour. And that's how the All-Star race is going to end right here. Kyle Matthews wins. I think this is his second All-Star victory, I believe, because he won this All-Stars in season 16, I think. 16 or 17, whichever it was. But what a finish that was here. Rest of the order, Zach Winkle comes from an 11th position, Seth Cole 12th, Cole Deaver 13th, Phil Parker 14th, Joshua Osborne 15th, Preston Plord 16th, Trent Dunham 17th, and poor Mike Becker 2 laps down. The only car not on the lead lap finishing in 18th position as, of course, once segment 2 started, it all went downhill for the Hot Wheels team. But you know Mike Becker's going to try to get that car correct, obviously, for the 600 itself on this very same racetrack. But congratulations again to Kyle Matthews, the winner of the Season 20 Winston All-Star Race at Charlotte in the number 42 Coors Light Silver Bullet. He brings the Pontiac to the winner's circle here in the Castrol GTX Cup Series Winston All-Star event. What a race that was for sure here. And so the 600, and so the main event action will be the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, which will be here on the same track, which will be next on the tour. Or if you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe to the Short Sports and Gaming channel. We got NNSCRA gaming videos. We got NNSCRA gaming videos. Whatever person on the NNSCRA set code desires for his channel. And please be sure to check out Seth's Last of Us Light Series, the Coors Light Truck Series, the Pizza Hut X Series, and the Hershey's Cup Series. Please be sure to check those races out from Seth, as well as our other Inter-Series All-Star Inter-Series series as well. And those series are truly all-stars in its own right, or all-stars in its own right, as well as along with other than Seth's. As of course, also on this channel is the NNSCRA Budweiser All-Pro Series from Michael Norman, and of course on his own channel from Thrash Maniac 99, Levi McIntyre's NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. Please be sure to check those two series out as well. And I'll guarantee you will not regret checking them all as the ultimate of NR online of NR offline is right here in the NNSCRA. No disrespect to the others. So that's going to do it here for the Winston All-Star Race for Season 20. Congratulations again to Kyle Matthews, the winner of the Season 20 Winston All-Star Race. And for now, this is James Qualls, and it's been a production of the NNSCRA. Offline Racing at its best. We'll see you in the Coca-Cola 600 here at Charlotte.